ladies and gentlemen, we are racing tonight at the Wilamette Speedway in Lebanon, Oregon. This 1/3 clay mile oval is actually known out here in the Northwest for being like a late model fender car racetrack. So this is their only 410 show of the season. They have a couple of like limited 360 shows sprinkled in their schedule, but primarily they race other divisions. So this is a really fun night for this track. I'm sure it's gonna be absolutely packed because sprint car fans in this area, they eat up their one race a year. In Willamette, it has so much potential. Just with them not running a lot of sprint car shows, you kind of never really know what you're gonna get. But man, this place, super good progressive banking, bottom to top, very even. It can get right up on the wall. Now the one guarantee I always tell people when you come here from the driver's standpoint, it's gonna be smooth. But I think the same guy that's prepped it for like the last 30 years, you'll see him out here all day long on the grader, just getting it like perfectly even. It's actually impressive to watch. So I'm sure we're gonna have a smooth surface, probably a good chance it's gonna be slick. Got a little bit of a breeze. It's fairly warm and not a lot of clouds in the sky. With that, we have a full field of NARC 410 sprint cars. You can see the pit area down back this way, and we're ready to go this evening. After running second yesterday, you know, a race we could have put the 18T in victory lane, I feel hungrier than ever to get to work this afternoon and put together an entire night. So after rolling out there for engine heat, I got a chance to look at the racetrack and I just had a few concerns, so I wanted to share them with you. So I'm making a prediction. I'm a little nervous, guys, about the track. I told you this place has so much potential. I really think it does. I just can tell by how it's prepped. As they worked it kind of throughout the day, it just seems like there's enough moisture on the top and there's a little bit on the bottom, but I don't know if there's enough on the bottom. The only spot there's enough is on the top. I don't even know if we can get there though because it's so rock hard in the middle. The midgets were breaking it apart, the little Focus midgets. Not a good sign, I think, here early in the night as far as tire wear is concerned and how the racetrack might shape up so we can race. A lot of drivers were on the same page. After going back and forth with NARC, it was decided we're going to hot lap and qualify everyone and then go out there and try to work on the racing surface.
And Holmes Racing 18T from Jacksonville, Oregon, a Ryder Power Triple X chassis. Sponsored by Legacy Builder Supplies, Shane DeWalt Trucking, Oroville Tax, Lentz Machinery, Sisters Meat and Smokehouse, and Diamond Roofing. Here is Tanner Holmes. Tanner Holmes takes the green flag. He's on the clock. Finished second last night down in Cottage Grove. Was fifth down in Roseburg. First lap, 8th, 12, 589, 1, 2, 589 for Tanner Holmes. And second lap is better, 12, 522, 1, 2, 522, still 8th on the board for Tanner Holmes.
So we ended up right in the middle of the field, 12th quick. That's going to put us second row of our upcoming heat race. We need to win to transfer into the dash. They have a pretty long break going on right now. We have major track prep. You can see just by looking at this material, this stuff's not very wet right here. So they're going to have to throw water on this. They tilled it all up because this didn't get as much moisture at the beginning of the night, where up here on the curb you can see it's actually fairly thick. If you get over this, that's all wet up there and it's all grease. Like if you get over it, you're stuck on top of it. This racetrack's going to be really interesting the rest of the evening. Hopefully a little bit of water down on the bottom is going to help, but the other thing is it's so hard where our left rears are going to be, that could create a rubber lane up here. We almost need the track to keep forming both ways. This needs to keep moving up and that needs to keep the rest of the racetrack dirty. So this might require a lot of maintenance throughout the night as we move into these upcoming heats. Just hoping we have somewhere we can pass. We got to come from row 2 to improve our starting position for later. you know, so I just don't know. Like, and I feel like when I run the bottom, like if I go in too hard, I just skate, and when I get in just slow, then I get like snug for a second, and then it kind of gets back and it snaps and shears for a second, and then I'm kind of driving laterally.
Stay like this, and right now we're like that. You gotta be down in the track.
Well, we started third there in that heat race and finished third, so now we're going to be starting, you know, mid-pack here in the feature. Just don't feel as happy with the balance of our car as we would like. They did that work on the bottom, didn't really hang out. We were also one of the last heats, so by the time they ran the support class, ran the other cars in front of us, like it just burned in pretty good. You could still run down there, there just wasn't still a lot to hold you. The racetrack's just really glass bottom to top. Got to keep an eye on the track surface, but still, that don't even really matter. Right now we got to work on our car. Like I mentioned, just not making good speed out there. Like just not super comfortable, not squaring up and driving off the corner like we would like. I feel like we could enter the corner too. I think that's probably where some of our issue is, whether it's bottom or top. Like I'm just not carrying some of that speed to make the necessary grip and then square up and drive down the straightaway, so it's just hurting my overall speed. We talk about the word momentum. It's so big in wing sprint car racing. Even get my wing back a little bit, like it didn't help me like I needed. So we're gonna make a pretty big swing here. We don't really have a lot to lose. We're not starting deep, but we're starting mid-pack, so we definitely have ground to make up. So we got 25 laps ahead. They cut the race because they're just worried about tire wear, but also with the rework, the track's actually pretty juice. It appears that way. We don't know what's gonna really happen. So with us starting 9th, we kind of left our car a little more on the free side just because being in traffic, being in dirty air, we just have to be aware of that. But ultimately, run the best race we can, get a good start, and if guys do single file out, get in line. Otherwise, kind of search and see how we can just make each lap a little bit better and try to build off of, you know, starting mid-pack, come home with a good result. Well, we started 9th and finished 8th. I mean, my dad joked, he was like, you might have been the hard charger, you passed a car. Just not a lot of passing tonight in the feature. Really would have been nice to start farther up front. I thought we worked on our car though, and considering the conditions, granted it had a lot of grip, so I'm sure everyone felt solid. It's a lot more, you know, like hero dirt, but I actually thought our car was a lot better. My balance felt good. We made some bar changes, kind of tried to take a different approach to how to get our car to feel like grip, but then also be free enough, but still be able to use the wing and have everything just work together. So that was nice. I mean, I basically just ran 9th the whole race. We all single filed out. In traffic, I was able to get one car, almost got a second car at the end. You know, I thought I ran a pretty good race, pretty smart, thought I just did about what I could do. You know, maybe a few mistakes at the end when I was really trying to stick the bottom. In 1 and 2, I kind of found that, and I think maybe, like I said, maybe that was the difference in one position, but still, for the circumstances, bring it home top 10. Obviously, we're here to win races, like, you know, so we're not happy with tonight. We're disappointed, but we made, you know, the situation we rolled out in, the track conditions, I mean, that's about what we could do. So we got through lap traffic pretty good. We paced right behind the cars in front of us. Like I said, we brought it home, and that's just racing sometimes, just trying to get the best finish with the spot that you're put in. All right, guys. These fans want to be in the video. We just finished up at Willamette. What'd you guys think? You guys have some fun?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, it was good seeing you all at the races. Nice watching fast cars, I'm sure, watching 410s. And yeah, we're getting ready to get loaded up. We'll be heading to the car wash here soon. So here's kind of a look at how things ended here at Willamette. The grip definitely came back at the end of the night, just with how much they worked it. More down here in 3 and 4 than 1 and 2. 1 and 2 actually kind of stayed a little bit slicker, but as you can see, this corner, I mean, that's had some serious grip. Most guys just running around the bottom where it was a little heavier, and then almost kind of got towards the infield and started dragging more moisture out, and the lights just went off on us. We should be okay now. Just to kind of finish things off tonight, you know, I don't know, I just feel like track prep was obviously kind of the story of today's show. As our team, you know, what could we have done better? If we had our balance closer, laid down a better qualifying lap, we would have had a much better shot at, you know, a good result. Starting 9th on a surface like that, at best we were gonna just pass a handful of cars unless something more dramatic happened. I'm not a track prep expert. I know earlier in the video I talked about how much potential this place had. Just really would like to come here when the racetrack has a little more moisture to start. And obviously it depends on the conditions of the day, but with how it being warmer, with the sun being out, we just needed more grip across the entire surface. And I think if that would have started that way, they of course wouldn't have had to do as much track prep and work it throughout the night. But it just got scary quick, because all of a sudden we realized, like, wait, we're gonna make it the track take rubber in qualifying. We're gonna be sawing, like literally sawing tires off. So then, you know, of course, telling the racetrack, like, you guys gotta do something, because when the midgets were out there already burning it in hot laps, and those cars are just, you know, way less horsepower, way smaller than ours. The 410s, once we got out there, it was just not good. And again, that just made for a long night, and then, you know, difficult to pass is like you end up being in hurry up mode trying to get more moisture back in the track, and then the sun goes down and then the moisture hangs out, right? And then you don't have the feature where you have, you know, more of a surface to work with. But part of the game, track prep's tough, but again, just would you know, I know Willamette, like I told you guys earlier, and I talk highly, like, it has so much potential for sprint cars. Just gotta, you know, get it a little closer earlier, and I think, you know, we could put on a really good show. But 9th to 8th tonight, we'll take it. Cars in one piece. Just gotta work on, you know, being a little better in every moment. That's a sprint car racing. Everyone is so talented, everyone's so fast, and cars are rolling around good. It just comes down to these little instances and getting on the right side of them, and that's how you have your nights where, you know, you're on the podium, you have a shot to win races and rack up a little bit better stats. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for being a part of my career, my journey. Love what I do, even on nights like this where, you know, your head's spinning a little bit, you're trying to get your race car closer, and I think if we can just find our balance, and I think we did, you know, Carly and I working together, and just us as a team as a whole, finding our process and replicating that, you know, again, that's our recipe for success, and we're gonna keep chasing it. So we'll see you guys all in the next show. Deuces.